it's pretty much safe to say that Indiana Jones and the Dial of Dogshit will not be making its money back, and I think LucasFilm are well aware of this, considering they've had to roll out Harrison Ford in order to beg for money. That probably isn't going to play out the way they would want it to. And then on the other hand, we have James Mangold, who once again is getting very upset at any mere criticism of this terrible film. Because that's all that it is, a terrible film. There is no redeeming quality about it. It is just outright terrible. And James Mangold is once again upset about this, as he's now calling fans divisive for not liking this film, for not pointing out the flaws of this film. You're just being divisive. You're not being honest or truthful. No, you're just being outright divisive. But James Mangold derides fans as divisive for not liking his deconstruction, which, yet again, it's not a problem with deconstruction in and of itself. It's the fact that they don't have the ability to do it well. That is where the issue lies in the majority of these deconstructions that we actually see of Indiana Jones in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Director James Mangold decided to deride fans for not liking his deconstruction of Indiana Jones. Because as we know, James Mangold has a lot of previous on this. If you remember the situation with Matthew Kadish, where Matthew Kadish pointed out the reason this film won't work, and James Mangold replied with his bumbling lip, saying, "You just live in your parents' basement." That's what he decided to say. Very upset at people just pointing out facts of why this movie is probably not going to be a success. But speaking with The Hollywood Reporter, Mangold was asked by Brian Davids, "Life is filled with peaks and valleys, and I appreciate when my fictional heroes, such as Indy, have their own ups and downs." Now that's a nice way to put it. I'd rather put it as Indiana Jones's life being in utter tatters. There's not really, he had a bit of an up and down. No, James Mangold went with, his son's dead, his wife left him, nobody listens to him when he's doing his job, and he's now retiring. He went with all that, not just ups and downs. He didn't go, I'll just take one. No, he went, let's take them all. Let's have Indiana Jones's life in complete tatters. So to say it's ups and downs is a bit generous. So why does a segment of the audience seem to want these legacy characters to be infallible? Well, again, the issue lies in the fact that it's been done so many times, and it's never been done well. Whether you want to go back to Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, there is so many to choose from. We've seen it so many times, never done well, so why keep doing it? Why keep doing it when that is what everybody does with legacy characters? How about what we do is let legacy characters stay as legacy characters and don't try to bring them up to present? How about we try that for a change? But no, they just keep doing the same thing, which is funny considering at the same time Indiana Jones come out, the same exact thing is being done to Nick Fury in Secret Invasion. So you start to see how it becomes very just rinse and repeat. That's all it seems to be. And that is where the issue lies. And again, it's never done well. Never done well. I just can't figure out why anyone would want such little drama. I mean, that's probably why you work for The Hollywood Reporter, but okay. I mean, if you want to try and call Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny a drama, it's more like a bad comedy. That's the category that I would put it in. There's nothing really dramatic about it. Mangold replied, "Well, there's a point where these characters become symbols more than characters. And so there becomes this anxiety that if you examine the humanity of our hero by having him want to kill himself at the end, that's examining the humanity of a hero. He wants to kill himself at the end of the movie. You somehow weaken them. Well, that is, like, again, you reduced his life to tatters because you didn't have the ability to, as you're about to go on to say, to start him in a good place and then take him to a more enhanced good place. What you had to do in a lazy attempt was tear him down to make it seem like, oh, we've done something with him at the end. Even though in this case, you literally did nothing. By the end of the movie, he still wants to kill himself. And then you just finish it off, and, oh, Marion's back, goodbye. That's how the film ended. And honestly, I can't speak for how fans relate and wrestle with these questions in relation to other movies. But certainly in relation to mine, I think your question almost has my answer built into it. I mean, I think you're in a sense already addressing it. Good drama, again, no, it's a bad comedy. That's what you've made, Mangold. That's what you've made. Just take the L, move on, say, yeah, you know, I may have made a bit of a mistake with this one. You've done good movies. So I don't know why you can't just go, yeah, maybe I made a mistake. That's what you could do. And people would have a bit of respect for you. Good drama gives a hero a problem. Again, you didn't give him a problem. You just tore his entire life down to tatters. You didn't give him anything. You didn't give him anything, really. If a movie is about a beautiful hero who is capable of anything and is virtually indestructible, don't think that's what anybody's asking for or what anyone would expect. And is without any personal issues or concerns, then you just have a fashion video with action. But yeah, that's literally what you have. I am a fan of starting a character in one place to go to another, yet you couldn't figure out to do it in a better way. In a way that is more respectful. No, you had to kill his son, make his wife leave him, and all the rest of it in between. Again, it seems to be the reason why we see this so much now is it's just out of laziness. Go, oh, we'll tear the character down, then by the end of it, he's slightly better, so it seems like we've done something with them. It seems like they've actually been on an arc. That seems to be where the laziness of it lies. They don't have the ability to, you know, look at the original trilogy, of Indiana Jones. When did we see he has to be completely teared down to go on an arc? You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. And I don't know why you would want to do it when everybody else has fucking done it. Movies are a continuum. By definition, in drama, a character starts in one place and ends up in another. Yeah, that's called an arc. Again, it seems to be someone that has something to do with a film that don't actually know what fucking film they made. They just don't seem to grasp what they've actually done. You haven't sent Indiana Jones on an arc. He starts off, his life is shit. At the end, he wants to kill himself. The only reason he doesn't, because he gets knocked out by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and then his wife turns up, and that's the end of the film. That's not an arc. That is not an arc. You don't have to have an arc, but if you're going to do an arc, make it actually be an arc. You haven't done that. By the end of the movie, he is still in the same position as he was at the start. There is no change in him. The idea, you have Phoebe Waller-Bridge out there saying, Oh yeah, I taught Indiana Jones how to love it. No, you didn't. You didn't. We did not see that in the film. But that's what they seem to think. They seem to think, no, Indiana Jones has been on an arc. No, his life was shit at the start. He wants to kill himself at the end. And then Marion just shows up and that's the end of the movie. That's not an arc. But that's what James Mangold seems to believe. It's fine, Mangold. Stay in your little bubble. Mangold then accused critics of his deconstruction of being divisive. So it is divisive to critique this film, essentially. When it was his and LucasFilm's choice to deconstruct Indiana Jones in the first place. He said, so if people want to be divisive in the age of social media, they can focus on where a character starts as opposed to where they end, or they can focus on where they end as opposed to where they start. I think most people are focusing on the entire thing. The entire film is bad from start to finish. But that's apparently what he seems to think. With being divisive by pointing out that doesn't make sense. Why is it, that's divisive to do that? No, you've made it divisive by making this movie. In reality, for Harrison, who's playing this character, he's tracing an arc and he's changing through the whole picture. He didn't. That didn't happen, James. That did not happen. So it all depends on where you're landing and where you're pointing your finger on that timeline. But again, divisive. It's divisive. He is such a little bumbling twat. It is so... It's just embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. You can't just be a man and go, yeah, I made a mistake with this one. It didn't quite turn out the way I wanted it to. That's all you have to do. But, you know, again, it's James Mangold. Can't really accept a little bit of criticism. Although it's not really a little bit, is it? The majority of the film, that there's something to critique about it. There is a criticism wherever you land on the timeline of this movie. But he seems to think that, oh, well, we've sent Indiana Jones on an arc. No, you didn't do that. You didn't do that. I don't know why you would think you did. I mean, to have him want to kill himself at the end of the movie, I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was. And then you just have Phoebe Waller-Bridge knock him out, take him back to the present. Marion shows up, the film ends, and you're just thinking to yourself, so what was that? What was I supposed to make of that? Because there was no arc involved in it. But it just seems like to me that it's just become this new lazy trend that you have to completely tear down to the roots a character in order to make it seem like you're actually doing something with the character. Because you for some reason, don't have the ability to start in a, I guess, in a nicer place and then enhance something along those lines. We didn't have this in the original Indiana Jones trilogy. So the idea that, oh no, that's what we've got to do. We have to tear down the character. At the end of the day, this is a film that should have never been made, but it did, and it's just terrible. That's all you can really say about this film. James Mangold is very upset about anyone critiquing it or providing criticisms. It's just, no, you're being divisive. Being divisive, that's apparently what it is. No, James, you just made a bad movie.